Welcome to Scruffy City Aquatics. I'm Mitch, and this is going to be a little bit different of a video for me. I recorded this about a week ago. I had CO2 for about a week in this tank, and my microphone was muted, so I recorded the entire video. I've got like 20 minutes of footage with no sound whatsoever, nothing. So this will be an experiment. I'm going to take a look at where the tank is at this time and do some commentary, try to remember what I was talking about. Alright, here we have my dwarf chain swords. This is a plant I've had for a very long time. I'm really excited to try CO2 with these plants because they get a little tall on me, and my understanding is with high light and possibly CO2, they're going to stay a little lower, and that is something I'd really like to see out of these. They were in my first successful planted tank, and I've had them ever since, even though I melted them one time with peroxide. Don't soak your plants in peroxide, no matter what that aquarium forum says. But yeah, I'm really excited about this plant and seeing what it will do. It's a very thick plant already. I'm going to move some of these over to another tank. They've done a great job of providing me a little bit of carpet, and I'm just hoping they spread even more than they have. The fish had just been fed when I recorded this, and so we've got a lot of movement in the substrate as they're trying to get to some extreme scrapper. You can see all the different swordtails that I have here. I have some orange and some red swordtails. These are my Amazon swords, and the mother plant, which is the one towards the back, actually no, the one towards the front on the left hand side is the mother plant. I've had it as long as I've had the chain swords. But I've had them as long as I've had the chain swords. They've been in excellent health. I have to keep them fed root tabs on a constant basis. I have had multiple plants come off of these on a spike. You can see one up on your top right. We'll look at it a little bit closer here in a moment. But at this point they did need some root tabs. And you can see the flow has not been nice to them. I've been trying to figure out where to move this power head because the tank does like the flow, but the Amazon swords do not like the flow directly on them. This is a nice angle of the tank. This is from the left side. You can see I've got that power head over to the in the corner of the far left. We're looking at the mother plant, the Amazon sword. You can see there's also some crypts there. This tank does have some hair algae, and it is continuing to have some hair algae at the moment. I'm about to go in and clear it out, see if I can keep it from growing back. This is an interesting shot right here because there's a few things happening that are directly associated with the CO2. There's some plants growing here that I thought I had lost. I thought they were gone. They were not in the 75 gallon any longer. I thought I had removed all of the nacris. Didn't think there was any left. You can also see there's some Pogostem and Stellatus octopus starting to grow right here in the center of the screen. This is the plants on the spike, the Amazon swords, and this one on the left is really cool because it had a lot of blackbeard algae on it. It's starting at this point lose a lot of it, but within a few days it was pretty much almost clear. It looks really good. You can see there's one other like leaf on a node to the right of that one. I originally had thought it was going to start growing roots, and it never did. So I cut the other plants because I had 3 others off and planted them. But this one right here, I'm waiting on it to grow roots, and I don't know that it's going to. It is still connected to the mother plant. You can see there's some other plants up here at the top. Might also be Pogostem and Stellatus octopus. It could also be the stem plant over here to the right. I need to go back and see what that plant is. But you can see the hair algae. You can see some moss starting to show up again. I love these swordtail and the fry. It's so much fun. You can see some of my guppies in here too, and my green cories. There's a molly. I need to get rid of that. But yeah, they're all picking at this extreme scrapper. I keep wanting to, or scraper. I want to call it scrapper, but it's a scraper, extreme scraper tab. There's not much of it left. They're trying to get to it. Nice shot of this Cory over here, though. You can see here I've got the cardinal plant is growing. It stayed kind of compact. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to look like. There's another one that I'm pointing at right here. It does look better, I believe. I did put 3 in here, and I think they're all still here. Looking forward to seeing what the CO2 does for them. They do have new growth already, and I don't know why I'm pointing at the valve in the back, but it's getting thick. The valve's very thick. You can also see those pink flamingos here, crypts, pink flamingo crypt. That's one of my prized male swordtails. That's actually the one that appeared to be a female. There's the female, one of my Montezumas. Man, I wish I could remember what I was saying. I guess I'm talking about these plants and their roots sticking out, that I need to replant some of them. I actually do need to cut this bough. I've done it before and it worked out. I just hate to do it. I like the look of it laying over, but at the same time, I want these stem plants to take off. Oh, there's the big red guy. It's one of my favorite fish. I got him by accident. Well, not by accident. Someone left him behind at one of the meetings, and since I already had swordtails, I took him. In these crypts, you can see my 3 pink flamingo cryptocorns. I got them from someone in the local club. Cassandra, she shared that she had some for sale, and I'd been wanting them ever since I knew she got them. I was waiting on her or Tanner to get ready to sell some. She was first. They have done a pretty good job converting. This one on the left keeps floating up, so I end up having to put a plant weight on it. But the other 2 have stayed in the substrate, and they are growing. I like this plant. I'm hoping to see it take off. It's already branched off a few times, and it does have some new growth. It was not this tall before I added the CO2, but it has shot up. It has started growing. I think it's at the surface right now, and so I need to cut it and get it ready for some propagation. I need to go back to that live stream and look at what these were. I should take better notes. I am still running sponge filters in the 75. As far as I can tell, it's not a bad idea. It doesn't gas off enough CO2, and you are adding CO2 as the sponge filters run. Hey, a red cherry shrimp. I'm a little worried I'm losing red cherry shrimp. I need to get something for them to be able to hide in. Actually, I may go by the store today and pick one up. But yeah, I've lost quite a few. Tanner mentioned the other day, I was thinking it might have been the ram's horn snails, but he mentioned the other day that my swordtails, probably are snacking on my shrimp. And that makes sense. So I'm going to try to put something in there for them to hide. I'm looking forward to the valve spreading out and going further over to the right. Oh, I'm pointing out there's some wild Pogostem and Stellatus octopus growing back there. Like I said, it just showed up. I saw a few pieces of it before adding the CO2 back there. Very tiny, was not looking healthy at all, but it's taking off now. I love sitting in the floor and just looking up at the tank like this, and that's kind of what this angle is. All the crypts are starting to grow. I actually just added root tabs yesterday. But it's great watching all the fish swim in and out of these plants. I just can't imagine having anything other than a planted tank with a bunch of Corys and swordtails. Look at that yellow swordtail there on the left. Keep wondering where that color came from because it doesn't show up in any of the other swordtails. Here's the other side of the tank. This is a piece of bulbitis that Tanner gave me, and it's held on. I just kind of shoved it in this anubias. This anubias is getting large, but it does have some holes in the leaves. When it gets some new growth, I'll probably have to do some trimming. It's had a lot of blackbeard algae on it in the last few months, the summer months, but most of it's disappeared already with the CO2. There are several Anubias barteri. I believe it's a barteri in here now, but they all came from this one plant, and I've shared with others. Oh man, focus the camera. Focus the camera. There we go. Hey, here's these leaves. You can see they're looking pretty rough. They don't look great. This plant's seen better days. But it goes back and forth, really. And what I realized soon after this was that my nitrates were way too low. So I've been keeping a watch on that, trying to keep them around 20 parts per million. But you do see this Anubias is flowering. You can see right there this Anubias did get brown, and so that rhizome is rotting. So I had to cut that off. It's good to look at your plants, catch stuff like that before you end up losing a whole piece. You can see that CO2 cranking over there. I think that diffuser's doing a pretty good job. I could probably do something better, and I may eventually, but for right now I feel like it is doing the job. I should probably cut this out, but this Palliatus is an older fish. I had him for a very long time. I watched him over a few days just get really lethargic and lay around. I didn't see anything else wrong with him. I've had him longer than any other Corys in here, so he was pretty old at this point. He did pass. He has passed since, and yeah, it's always sad when you lose one. Couldn't figure out what was going on with him, so I'm going to assume it was just end of life. Hey, I have CO2. Here's our update on the 75. It's going well. You can see the NiCrew has been added to the tank, so I have 2 lights on the tank currently. I have both lights up to 100, and I'm putting CO2 into the tank. So it's kind of an experiment for me to see how it does. I have cleaned out all the floating plants several times. Most of these plants are no longer in the tank. But I love this part of the hobby. I love just trying things and seeing what happens. One of these days I'll get the 75 to a place where I really enjoy it. Right now it's really cluttered, but I'm trying to leave it alone a little bit and see how things go with the CO2 and the lighting situation. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. You can also subscribe to the channel and maybe share it with some friends who you think might enjoy it as well. I'll be doing more updates on this tank as I dial in the lighting and the nutrients and the CO2. Till next time, enjoy your tanks. Oh, this is blurry. Probably talking about something really important. Look at the screen, you fool.